All right, let's get started. Thank you for joining today's webinar. I'm Kathy Ma, VP of Platform Growth and Engagement for Sometry. You're here today because we are going to walk you through some really interesting data and free sourcing tools on thomasnet.com. Let's get started. So before we jump right in, as I mentioned to a few of you, there is a deck link already in the chat. And throughout a GoToWebinar panel, by now you should be super familiar with all the remote work options. There's a chat box and there's a question box. What I would love you to do is for you to actually in real time, as I'm talking through Thomas capability, you can share with me the product you're looking for, the business challenges you're having. Other participants won't be able to see a question, but I might use it to actually inform what I demo throughout the call. It's a lot more fun when it's interactive. And as you know, the copy of this presentation is already in the chat box, but we'll also circulate a copy and the full recording after this call. So please don't worry about frantically taking any notes about the presentation. A little bit about me. Yes, I have a weird accent, born and raised in Hong Kong, but kind of grew up in London and moved to the US. Sometry is a global company. They acquired Thomas about a year ago. Thomas has been the industry leading directory for all manufacturing companies, which we'll delve a lot deeper into today. And what I would love to do today is to walk you through how we can offer you a tremendous amount of free content, free data for you to do your job better and faster. And also on the call, we have Brittany Hannaberry, our producer. Brittany, do you mind saying hello to the group?
Hello, everyone. I'm audience development lead for Thomas, and my job is basically just trying to make sure that everyone who uses the platform has the right resources, not only to use thomasnet.com, but to help with just their general careers. So I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, thank you. So yes, Santa, thank you for saying that my accent is not weird. And also to Reina as well. The deck link is inside the GoToWebinar control panel. If you scroll down, you should see a chat option, and there should be a link that Brittany recently just added. If you can't get it, Brittany can privately message the link to you all as well. Now let's jump right in. You are here today because you probably at some point come across thomasnet.com, be it through someone's recommending the platform to you, or you might search on Google, where can I find valves manufacturers in the USA? We are full of American and Canadian suppliers on that platform. As a matter of fact, we have a tremendous amount of industry reach. What do I mean by that? On a daily, weekly basis, we have regular conversations with professionals from all these industries, from aerospace to defense, automotive, construction, electronic, all the way through to textile and apparel. And towards the end of the presentation, I'll also offer you my personal email and contact. I talk to people from the government, supply chain leaders, manufacturing owners and founders all the time. And I understand our community need to work together to really withstand a lot of the supply chain stress that happened in the last few years. If you want to get in touch and ask any random questions, we are here as your resource. So what do I mean by random? It's actually not so random. I used to be an informational sociologist. I study Wikipedia and organizational knowledge management. So working at Thomas is a treat. What do I mean by that? We have 570,000 categorized US and Canadian suppliers, all listed on thomasnet.com. And we had over 100 years of experience with our industrial librarians and taxonomist experts. What they do is they actually classified all of these manufacturers, suppliers, OEMs, distributors, based on different sourcing categories. For example, if you work in construction, you might be really looking for raw materials like concrete and adhesive, or you might be part of the EV supply chain thinking about how you can optimize charging infrastructure. You can pop over to Thomas, source for what you look for by searching in our search box, which I'll demonstrate in a bit. And our data is available to all of you as long as you're registered for free on our platform. And there's three particular things you can do on thomasnet.com. You can search, evaluate, and transact on our platform, or you can also connect with our suppliers off platform as well. We have many use cases, and I'm going to cover them all. But enough about us. You don't want to be in a party where you're the someone who only talk about yourself. I just want to run a really quick poll so that I can customize the presentation for you. Brittany, please queue up the poll where we can actually find out exactly what are your use case for using thomasnet.com. Oops, there's a typo. Sorry, we put this together really quickly. It is thomasnet.com. So, cool, the poll is launched. Yep, now you should see a little pop-up and it asks you a quick question on how thomasnet.com helps you do any of the following. There are only 5 options. We're going to give everyone a few seconds. We're halfway through. Awesome. So we now have close to 80% of you, over 80% who told us how you use thomasnet.com. So let me close the poll and you should be able to see the results now. So the most important use case for Thomas is for you to discover new vendors. And the next level up is actually using Thomasnet to buy new products, parts, and services, and then to turn your ideas into reality. We actually have a lot of professional inventors using our platform to really basically discover new vendors. Yes, so we're going to talk about number 1, how you can search and really kind of leverage our advanced filters. Number 1, I'm actually going to queue up my website right now on thomasnet.com. Let's say I would love to actually hear some of the examples. I'm going to use that's Hoyt's example. They're looking for a manufacturing company that sell flour and baking products, right? So a really good use case is on Thomas, it's super easy to actually look for any manufacturers by typing in your chosen categories you're looking for. And while I'm demonstrating this example, please feel free to add your case studies as well into the chat. I love interacting with you. And maybe, actually, I work with a lot of fast-moving consumer goods procurement experts too. They would say, Kathy, actually, I really, I'm looking for a company that are custom manufacturer because I want to make my own special gluten-free brand, or you might just be looking for manufacturers. We have all the structured data where you can filter the information on the left. And when you're in the search results, let's say I'm actually based in New York State, it is really easy for me to see the top suppliers that are based in New York State as well. When I talk about our firmographic-free information, you will see immediately on any search result you look at. Say, for example, during COVID, there are a lot of new businesses that emerged, and we notice that sometimes for PPE, for example, it's much better to work with someone that has 10 years of experience instead of someone that has only been around for the last few months. So you will see that on the search result, there is the revenue range of the company, and then there is the year of when the company is founded, but also a tremendous amount of information about the number of employees, but also what they're able to do. Now, I actually just used a gluten-free example for this use case. You can even search within results in typing in gluten-free as an option. So as I typed in here, you can see that it restricted the search result from 40 suppliers to 7, saving you a lot of time in browsing through a lot of search results on this list. I think we can also look at some other examples. Yes, I think there's a really great example. They're looking for some bearings for their new product offering. So right now, as I said, we have 76,000 of categories of bearings. And like I said, walking through the steps, you come onto thomasnet.com, you can type in the search or keywords of what you're looking for, but you can also scroll deeper into our homepage. And at the bottom, you will actually see a whole high-level taxonomy of any products and categories that you may be looking for, and you can browse and go through the whole catalog. Now, let's use bearings as an example. Maybe I'm actually creating a special wind turbine, and I want large-scale products. Here, looking at the search results, you will see that number one, you can actually see all the related categories around bearings in our search results. What I did is I basically clicked the More button and open up a new tab. Here, you can really kind of go deeper into all the matching categories and all the options around bearings, such as rotary, plane, telescopic, etc., etc. If you are just switching to a new category, this is a great example where you can figure out what are the ancillary related categories of a product. Now, another really great thing you can look at is sometimes, at the comfort of your home, you may want to ascertain whether or not a company has a real factory and that they are capable in doing what you wanted. So one thing we're very proud of at Thomas is throughout COVID-19, we sent a film crew and account managers out to many manufacturers. And we are able to partner with them at the cost of about $2,700 in really kind of doing full photography end-to-end of the facilities. So using Monroe as an example, you will see that we actually did a drone video of the whole factory, and you can go through the factory tour into the capability of the company, such as, what they're capable of doing for you, the shop, and the machining. So it's almost as good as physically visiting a prospect vendor that you want to talk about. And in order for you to find suppliers within the category that are all factory tour enabled, all you need to do is just click this button, and your search result will kind of contain only companies that have the factory tour data point in their company profile. Now, when I talk to many of you, sometimes for the inventors in you may actually want to talk to your custom manufacturers instead of just distributor that have like normal SKU predetermined products range. You definitely can filter your custom manufacturers by clicking this option, whittle it down to 470 options. Now, some of you may say, hey, maybe you actually work in the defense supply chain and you have all the requirements for your vendors. A very good example is actually the ITAR certificate. So if you are not familiar with it, it's a really important certification that shows that you are qualified to work in the defense supply chain and you're not involved in any international trades that are not suitable for the criteria determined by the US government. So once I filter the bearing suppliers, you see that it whittled down from thousands to 57 suppliers within a few clicks. Going deeper into some of these examples, let's go into new process fiber company. Within this search results, you saw that I went from the search results into the company profile. Obviously, there's a lot of information. Let's go through each tab. To start with, within the company profile, we see the company overview video, but you can also get a sense of the breadth and the depth of the manufacturers based on all the other products and services they deliver, categorized by our supplier librarians. In addition, I mentioned that this company is ITAR registered. You will see that under business details, there is the registration fields. Let me do an example and click through to the ITAR registration page. Here you will see that our supplier content team actually deep linked into the benchmark page, where you will see where they kind of classified their company and all the paperwork being made available onto the quality assurance page. In addition, sometimes you may say, hey, Kathy, I'm actually not just discovering new vendor. I'm a salesperson, and sometimes I use Thomas to find out who I can talk to. Here, you will see the key personnel options where the president's name and the marketing directors are all within one page. Now, for the buyers, I remember the top use case of Thomas is actually, the use of Thomas to discover new vendors. For some of our partners that use Thomas as their advertising platform, we actually ingest their full catalog through APIs, where you don't have to step out of any websites even. You can just go and browse the full catalog, such as fabrication service, and you can go through and look at the catalog of availability. You can even just click the quote and buy button. As long as you're logged in we will actually give you all the options in the form, and you can query and talk to the suppliers and get them to give them a quote for your information. So this is a very simple form. You can see that I can just say to this supplier, new process fiber company, I may want, non-metallic stamping services. You can copy and paste your RFQ. You can upload your NDA RFQ into this, tell them when you need to buy and your contact, etc., etc. And we'll do the digital matchmaking for you to encourage a supplier to get back in touch with you. So this is really fast, right? So Kathy just kind of walked you through a few things. Let me just recap on how you can leverage our firmographic information step by step. As I mentioned, number one, you're registered on Thomas. You can just click the register button, create an account. Then you go into the search options. You will see all the kind of suppliers that are suitable in your supplier category. There, you can actually filter your suppliers based on whether or not they have factory tour, the company type, or you may have specific demands such as clean room manufacturing, ITAR certification, all of that. There's one really powerful filter that we implemented since COVID-19, which is the Made in the USA declaration. Now, this is not a government declaration. It is what we did with our supplier community, where we asked them to certify through a letter that they write that they have capacity to manufacture in the USA. Because we found that there are, although manufacturers that claim that they can manufacture certain products and services, they basically just outsource that internationally. Throughout supply chain disruption, it became really chaotic for buyers. So we actually did the work for you and really kind of send a digital flair to our vast supplier community and have them tell us whether or not they have made in the US capacity. And we are planning to roll out a Canadian equivalent a system as well soon. Now, then I kind of pop over to the supplier page, and I walked you through that for many suppliers, if they hire Thomas to be their advertising partner, you will see the badges next to their name. You will see a lot more in-depth information about the brands they carry and their capability, but also all the certifications that they have as a manufacturing profile. In addition, some of them you sometimes will see a catalog. So that's a recap of what we just talked about. Now, I have another really great use case, Tina. Tina, her use case is she's looking for bulk equipment to blend or grind coasted peanuts into dips. I cannot tell you how excited I am about this use case because I love peanut butter, but I also feel like you're not talking exactly peanut butter, so I don't want to insult you, Tina. So I'm just going to put grinding as a keyword here because although you're looking for an equipment, I think you're also looking for a process. So here, what I would do is usually when I want to develop a new knowledge graph in manufacturing, something that I've not done before, I use Thomas, I type in the keywords, then I kind of just browse through the options. Now, what you're really looking for also is a food safe option. I'm going to actually do two things here. I'm going to search within results and just type the word food and see what pops up in food manufacturing. So right now, okay, I can see precision profile where they actually have precision blending, but I still don't know exactly there what you're after. But what you can do, however, is I think actually for food-related manufacturing, there are additional certificate. It's not FDA clean room. I have to remember exactly which one it is. And if some of you remember food certification that are required, what I tend to do is actually to pop over food-related ISO or other certification and filter by this kind of categorization. So I can find food-focused manufacturer in grinding. So that's another really great example. Now, Travis asked a really good question also. When I demonstrated quote and buy, obviously sometimes, there are a lot of free form fields and different companies use different RFQ. And I know for a fact, Brittany, Ed Edwards, our technical content director, actually wrote a really in-depth guide in creating a well, that's not a work safe word. I need to think through it. An amazing RFQ template. Let's actually add to our notes, Brittany, so that by the end of this presentation, we'll share the RFQ template with everyone on this call as well. Now, let me cue back up the presentation. This is why I always love when you guys follow along using the Google Deck, because I love, talking through all the data. So what we already covered is when you look at the search result of Thomas, you will see that we share with you the firmographic information of the company, such as the revenue, the employee count, their expertise and capabilities. We also talk about the certifications really briefly, but I'll delve a little bit deeper into it in a bit. We walked you through the detailed firmographic information in the search results. I'm telling you the third time, but I think there's a lot of information here. And don't forget, if you are Tina, for example, if you're making your peanut-related food grade product, you may want to search for a high-level machining category, then whittle it down using keywords or certification filters. In addition, I mentioned that if you have a very kind of project-sensitive quote and you want to reduce your supply chain risk, you can always filter the search results by the Made in the USA certification. In addition, for some of you, if you're based in Hawaii or Alaska, sometimes shipping or coverage is very difficult. There, you actually can check location served by manufacturers, again, to help you refine your search results. And one thing I did mention, for some of our supplier search results, I get this question a lot. Kathy, why do I see a lot more information on some of the profiles? It is because our business model is we're advertiser driven. So for some of the suppliers, they chose to partner with Thomas and will devote extra resources to help them beef up their profile and syndicate the catalog. And they are very kind of transparently labeled as Thomas verified and Thomas registered suppliers, where you will see a richer information around the suppliers because we are working together to grow their businesses. And I use ITAR as an example. You will see that, say, if you're in defense supply chain, or if you're creating pharmaceutical graded products, such as beauty products or vitamins, healthcare, all of that, you can actually use all of these other certification filters, such as FDA clean room approval, for you to create your short list. And also, yeah, I found it now, Tina. It is the processed food registration. I knew there's like a special certification for food-related manufacturing. Now, we already did the use case on how we can filter supplier by ITAR. That's really great because for bearings, we limit our options from 1,500 suppliers to 41. So you don't have to Google, find a website, go to the results, browse every single website to create your own shortlist. Everything is structurally organized for you. Now, I do want to spotlight a couple of really powerful filter now, because I know many of you are small businesses owners, so this works both ways. What do I mean by that? There is a lot of investment in our community today in terms of huge corporation trying to source from smaller businesses. I think, Tina, maybe your food grade company is a woman-owned business, or some of you a veteran. If so, thank you for your business. We actually categorize businesses based on their small business statuses as well. Let me use another example. So fasteners, we have a lot of fastener suppliers on our platform. When I filter and look at the search results, you may say, hey, Kathy, I work for a big company. I work for someone like Boeing, and we always have to fulfill our diversity quota. Or you are a veteran, and you just want to buy from other veterans. That's great too. So right on the left rail, you can actually scroll down and you can look for all the filters by small businesses options. So for example, we have a lot of veteran-owned businesses. Here you can see 131 businesses. Minority-owned, say women-owned business, you can filter all the options based on just one click. It filters suppliers from a few thousand to 136. You always can whittle it down further and say, hey, I'm old school, I love to visit my supplier. Then I'm just punching in a generic New York postcode, and you can filter the suppliers to only 9 of them. Here you can see what else they're capable of, I've already talked you through how to read through a supplier profile. So a lot of great information at your fingertips. You can even go for a factory tour, like within a few minutes if you like. Now, swinging back to the deck, we talk about veteran-owned as a case study. And let me actually also walk you through a very powerful search tool that's not just for diversity. It's also help you kind of get a sense of available suppliers in the USA for any processes and services. Here's the link. I'm actually going to swing back into our screen share. So within Thomas, when you're on the homepage, there's a great hidden Easter egg. When you scroll to the bottom of the page, you will see that there's a diversity option. Here, I'm going to actually use the same example that you also just saw, fasteners. And when I search, you will see that there's a whole search result based on diversity, supplier, and all of their options in terms of not just the diversity statuses, but also quality certification. So if you, for example, using the ITAR example again, you can actually do a really good supply chain audit where if your boss is asking you, hey, Kathy, I need to understand in the USA how many manufacturers are capable as an ITAR registered company to manufacture fastener for risk mitigation, you can literally just click this button and it will give you the option to all the available suppliers today. So now you can see. And you may even say, oh, I want to whittle it to made in the USA option. I know I said it 6 times, but it's very interesting that sometimes you see 130 suppliers, but only really 34 of them can manufacture sometimes regionally for you. So that's a very useful data point too. Now, let's jump over to step 2. I feel like I kind of gave you a little sneak peek about evaluation. We talk a lot about using our structured data, how we use the left rail to filter and whittle down the result. Now let's look at the structured company information. Remember about 15 minutes ago, I actually walked you through the company profile. And you will see that within the company profile, there are all these options, and we even click through an ITA registration as an example. So here you will see that there are all these green icons. I want to spend 2 minutes just to talk you through what they stand for. Whenever you see a green icon, it means that the certificate the company shares with Thomas is actually available for you to download directly. And whenever you see this link, it means that we have deep linked their claim of the quality certification directly to the website, but not just the home page. We deep link it into the web page where they say they are able to deliver the quality certification. We also sometimes link to government agencies. If someone say that they are veteran-owned business, there are third-party agencies that actually verify, and you can click through to look at the results to double check yourself. Very rarely, we don't love self-reported information, but we do capture that, such as the Made in the USA letter that I told you about, where you will see a special speech bubble. Now, I'm going to queue up the live site again to show you one example. Let me clear the filter first, and then we can look at a good example here. Let's say I wanted to look at Chicago nut and bolt. And you will see that at the bottom of this page, there are all the examples that I showed you. When I click ISO 9000 to 2015, you can see that this certificate is actually embedded into our hard drive, our storage. So you can right-click, download it. You can print this. So we basically condense hours of research into minutes for you. In addition, this is a deep link example. So say that they have pressure sort of capability. And when you scroll down, you will see, the pressure equipment directive destination right at the bottom of the footer. That's another really good example. So we have some really good question. Do we have plans to move into Mexico also? Oh, this is a really good one. We are thinking about really how we can help with reshoring and nearshoring. So not at this particular moment, but if anything changes, I'll let you guys know. In addition, will a company that provides capital to businesses be able to be part of a Thomas register? This is a great example. So I'm actually going to use this as a use case. I think the real category would be financing. Oops, if I know how to spell, I will be able to find it. Okay, so let's see. So we do already have companies that are in financing. There are 717 suppliers in financial services. So for PA, if you really wanted to see if we'll approve your company, all you need to do is to click the claim your company option into your browser, where you can actually apply to be listed or update your listing on thomasnet.com. So yes, the answer is. Now more question, Caleb. What is the boundary for California North, California South? The age-old question indeed. Caleb, I will capture this question for you because the North and South categorization is actually an older category in terms of how we distribute our sales team and how they tackle community building with local suppliers. It is more arbitrary than what it needs to be, but I'll actually show you all an example of what I mean by Caleb's question. Let's actually use white label manufacturing, because that's really big in California. When you guys pop over to Amazon, if you want to get vitamin supplement, for example, like vitamin D, vitamin K2, actually, I'm actually going to use this vitamin, yes, manufacturing. Let's just type it in there. You don't exactly need to know what you're looking for at Thomas, because we sort of really walk you through all the options, right? So now I can see, okay, I may actually want to create nutritional supplement and vitamin contract manufacturing. I love that arbitrary kind of page where you can then choose your own adventure. Now here, if I scroll down on the location served, indeed, Caleb, you will see California North and South. I don't think it's super scientific, I'll be honest with you. If you're based in California, I would encourage you to look at both headings, but I will try to get you the answer too. Next. Oh yeah, so Vet, if I say your name correctly, please correct me if I'm wrong. There's some really good food certification that they share. So let me actually use this. I'm just going to use high-level food manufacturing as an example to really help you filter it down. So using the previous case where we talk about peanut grinding, food contract manufacturing is a really good generic heading for us to look at the certification. So QSF is one. Let's look at it when I expand it. So let's see, QSF, maybe it's spelled out. So organic so this is OPPR. And there is also, when I scroll up, the ISO option, ISO 22000. Let me expand it here. So there are actually 3 suppliers, for example, within the food contract manufacturing suppliers. So actually, this is a pretty interesting search result for you. Like you will see that contract manufacturer for food ingredients. This is more about warehousing. And the other one is really about a more generic packaging. I would say we can talk offline a little bit more. Yes, SQF, got it. Okay, what happens when you place a quote and no one answers the question? Tina asked. This is the lifelong challenge of our industry. Sometimes for our industry, I'll give you guys some data point. Across the 560,000 suppliers on our platform, 81% have less than 50 staff or below, 50. So what it means is what it means is a lot of these manufacturers are small businesses and they may not have time to really kind of answer an email or even pick up a phone call. What we recommend is use our quoting engine, because if no one gets back to you, our team actually is like your supply chain extension. We do keep an eye out on supplier response rate. If they don't respond sometime, we chase them because they are our partner. So that's one layer of additional service you get for free from Thomas. But I'll be old school and I won't lie. Sometimes the best thing you can do is to click the call supplier option and just really call them, chase them and tell them that you send a contract request, Have they read it? Can they get back to you? So there's that. Now, swinging back to our agenda today, we spent quite a lot of time talking about how you can search and evaluate the supplier search results on the platform. And you all have been great in asking questions and sharing use cases. So there's one really important feature I want to share with you, which is how you can then compare suppliers without copy and pasting all the data points into a spreadsheet. Because sometimes it's almost like, I don't know if you guys ever done wedding planning. It's very similar. It's like, I need to whittle down my vendor and I may want to choose a bunch of them, but 2 days later, I might have forgotten why I chose what I chose in the first place. So let's use an example of like a vitamin manufacturing again. So I love this example because I'm going to use the same use case where Kathy's not sure exactly how Thomas categorized the category. So I just type in what I think is the keywords, and now machine learning will match you with the right result. I'm here under the right heading. So let's say all of you should make sure you check yourself out. A lot of us don't have enough vitamin D in our system, or vitamin K. Both are really important for bone health. Let's say this is a great business opportunity and I am gonna launch my own private label. And I browse, I use Kathy's tip, I look at when they're founded, they are the same size manufacturer, I did the company tour video, I kind of even filter it out by the quality certification. Now I'm happy with the top 3 result. There is a really powerful tool where you can select up to 5 suppliers at a time. I'm doing 3 here, and when I click this, I want you to pay attention to the bottom strip. It kind of pops up where I can pick up to 5 suppliers. I'm going to get to the 5th, and I'm going to do the 6th so you can see that I cannot do more than 5, right? So that kind of not great. But this is useful because we have people who try to download all of our data and build their own Thomas. So we kind of have to protect ourselves a little bit. While I'm here, so I've picked all these 5 suppliers. What can I do with it? I can actually click the compare button, and here, all the firmographic information in the structured data format is right here for you, where you can actually, zoom in and do immediate compare and contrast, such as looking at these company, see the years they are founded, the company sizes, whether or not they have SQF or other certification, or whether or not if you want to support small businesses, all the options are here in the table. This is usually when I get a lot of questions, Kathy, can you show me again? Because that looks really useful. So I'm going to do it slowly one more time. I'm going to just reset my choices. You can always get rid of what you've chose and redo. So let's say I want to pick, 3 suppliers here. And then you can actually do the compare option where you see the full table. Now, while I'm here, I say, oh, wow, this company looks great. Supplier Supplement Manufacturing. They seem really all together. They got all the certification. I'm actually gonna even the food certification. That's great. So I'm gonna actually extract and create a report of this particular company. I'll repeat what I just did. You will see the download button when you compare suppliers. This is actually a download for the supplier profile summary report. So once I click the button, sometimes it takes 30 minutes for the request to be processed. Sometimes it's faster. So ahead of time, like a good baking show, I've prepared a list of suppliers where I've already generated a summary report. When you get a summary report, it's fantastic. It makes you look like you've done a lot of work for your team internally. It extracts all the information that I showed you about the suppliers, including the company description, all the structured data, all the classification of what they're capable in manufacturing, insane, but also all the hard, copy of the certification. It's also scoped and added into this final report with an explanation on what they actually mean. So we sometimes joke that this report takes us a second to generate, but it looks like the procurement teams spend days in generating. It's just a very good tool. In addition, going back to where I was, together we kind of picked a few suppliers. We added them into the comparison option. there are two things you can do in addition to this. You can actually shortlist all of these suppliers. Let's say I'm actually creating a work stream where I'm doing key to vitamin manufacturing. This is my vendor shortlist. You can name it however you want, and you save it. So this is great because anytime when you want to get back into the list, it's under your Thomas account, and I'll walk you through how to get in there shortly. So when you log into thomasnet.com, you have access to look at this vendor shortlist, and the beauty of it is you can even download the results, and it will be formatted into perfect CSV. So I have a lot of tech issue today. I hope at least Excel will just behave. And come on, yes, okay. Whew. That was a relief. So yes, you can see that there's a company name list, and we capture all the information about the supplier, even the location, as well as sales size and all of the information you need. And if you use any ERP, enterprise resource management software, or you have any kind of system where you can import data to store your amazing brain, this is a very good data format for you to parse out and re-upload it into any system you have. Or actually, I love spreadsheet too. You can add it to an epic spreadsheet if you want. Now, we did talk about one issue. You cannot add more than 5 suppliers at a time. So can you build a short list that's more than 5 suppliers? The answer is yes. So I've done a lot of experiment. I haven't found that there's any upper limit. What I do is, say if you're doing a bigger bill of materials research of a big project, you can go in, and as long as you're not selecting, more than 5 suppliers at a time, you can browse through more and more search results. You can select different suppliers and actually continue to add them into the shortlist option. So here you can see my 2023 vitamin manufacturing option. Save it to the shortlist, and now you will see that my shortlist is no longer just 3 companies. It will be, let's see, let me refresh it. It's reloading. Please, my internet, please don't go away. I think you can trust me on this. There's gonna be 6 suppliers. Yes, thank you, Thomas. 7 suppliers. Yes, I can do math sometimes. Cool. So now let me swing back to what we just covered as a recap. We talk about the fact that you can quote and choose multiple suppliers that would generate a big table for you. You can generate down any supplier profile summary report at any given moment. You can save it to your short list. In addition, you can also always go back and look at your short list in a bit. So I actually want to pause and use one example that Tina just shared, which is a great one and is a very common use case, co-packing. I hear that a lot. So let me pop back to the homepage, and I'm just going to type in co-pack. This is the interesting aspect of Thomas. I'm just going to type co-packing in search. Now, I don't know exactly how Thomas classified it. This is why they spell with a hyphen and we didn't. But at the end, we got here because there's technology behind and guesstimating what you want. Now, going back, you can see co-packing as a service where there are 135 suppliers. So Tina, if you want, you can punch in your postcode and it will limit the search results as well. Okay, and in addition, I think David has a separate question. David is, I'm trying to find people who need help with shipping their products. Yes, we do have a lot of logistic companies that are trying to help these manufacturers really ship their products. So if you have that use case, or you are like, PA also as a service provider for financing, the most important thing you can do for your business is to claim your company first on Thomas, where, on this page, you can generate, let me actually send it to all. I think you guys should all see the result of this URL. If you have a business and you want to figure out how to locate the businesses that might be interested in what you offer, sign up to list your business first. That's the first step. And our business development team will get in touch with you and give you personalized and customized recommendation. Now, swinging back to where we were. And I always like recapping. We have about 12 minutes left. With the evaluation section, we talk about the importance of all the structured data and what they stand for. You can always go to your supplier profile and get more in-depth information about them, such as the full catalog and the certification. And don't forget, you can request an in-depth report for free. That's a PDF report that embeds all the certifications as well, and certificates. And also, you can select multiple suppliers, 5 at a time, to add them into a comparison table. Finally, if you want to create a short list with more information, you can select up to 5 suppliers at a time to build your short list with no upper limit in total numbers of company underneath them, based on my example. I'm just going to slow down and show you one more time how to access your short list after you created it. Let's say I'm on Thomas, and I'm actually going to log out and start from scratch. So let's see. Okay, I'm not logged in. If you're not logged in, you should register or log in. At this point, once you're logged in, then you'll be given a lot of the options. Let it load for 2 seconds. Yeah, always. Oh, I was like holding my breath. Let me just actually pop back here. We're doing some testing on the back end, but I'm logged in. Yes, so once you're here, you can go into Thomas account, and you will see all the short lists, and you can easily download the full short list. So instead of 3 for my demo, now I have 7, and you can keep building all of that. And all the profiles of the company you saw me created, it is all under downloads, supplier summary reports. It's all there as well. Okay. Now we recapped everything in evaluation. Let's move on to the final part where you can connect with suppliers. We covered this really briefly at the beginning, so let me recap. So you actually can contact a supplier by clicking the quote and buy button, fill in a form, or you can also go deeper into selecting a few suppliers and send multiple quotes at the same time. So I don't think I demoed it before, so let me do it quickly. If I were to go back to the nutritional supplement, once I selected the 4 suppliers, I can actually click the quote and buy button. And here, this is where you can actually add the full project, but instead of submitting it to just one company, I'm submitting it to the 4 companies that I've selected in the previous screen. So you only need to submit the RFI 1, and it will just be sent to 4 suppliers, which is really helpful. Going back into our presentation, we just demoed the submit a project request page. And I also did spend some time in explaining that they are partners on our platform from Thomas and Sometry. As I mentioned, Thomas was bought by Sometry last year, so we're now one big public company. With these suppliers that you buy from, there are a few benefits. Number 1, you can put Sometry as your billing vendor, one partner, and you can actually source from 10,000 suppliers through our network. And the second thing is we also give you a 21-day assurance, so that by 21 days from the delivery day or intended delivery day, if you actually don't get what you needed, you can get in touch with us and we'll help you sort out any payment dispute as well, which is, I think, it's almost like extending your team from you yourself to having a team of procurement experts supporting you behind the scene. And finally, we're very excited about this. For the smaller businesses on this call, we understand that payment terms these days are a little ridiculous. Sometimes if you're the middle vendor in tier 3, tier 4, you might get a contract to build something great for an OEM, but they may not pay you in 60 days, sometimes even 90 days. So cash flow optimization is a big issue for everyone. We partner with Credit Key, where when you check out on Thomas or Sometry, you have the option in applying for Credit Key as your credit partner, where for the first 30 days is interest free, or you have the option of splitting your payment into a 12-month schedule with very low interest rate. So check it out, guys. We actually did it not to make money, but it's really is a product designed to help small businesses with their cash flow. So the payment terms are very favorable. And you can look at business.thomasnet.com/buy now, pay later. And the link is included in the deck as well. So one line of credit, like I explained, you can buy from 10,000 top USA and Canadian suppliers across the categories we already talked about. Now, finally, I would say, what if you've never actually sourced something before, right? I just wanted to make sure that you guys are aware of what Sometry does. I get asked this question a lot. So Sometry is this amazing platform where all companies can actually quickly drop any CAD design they have and get instant quote. What I mean by that is a bunch of you, I think in the initial presentation, you said to me, you're inventors and you're trying to figure out how to build things. Let's say you're a drone developer and you're building your own plugin to existing drone system for, I don't know, vitamins delivery. Wow, we are just co-creating a startup. We'll ask you to create an account on Sometry, but you can just easily log into our system, where I literally just drop a CAD file, and as I'm chatting with you, I'm counting the seconds. I think this time under 10 seconds, we immediately get our instant quoting engine, award-winning technology, in telling you, for this tri-frame design, it only costs you $59 in 6 days for you to get the part. Now, some engineers on the call may say, Kathy, this is so interesting. So the engine is suggesting 3D printing using HP multi-jet fusion with nylon as the material. But I actually wanted to make an obsolete diminished part for defense. And this has to be aluminum and it should be milled with CNC, let's say, right? Here, you actually can switch your processes and you can even choose your material. And once you've augmented your design, here you will actually even see, you know, the model uploaded will give you design for manufacturing feedback. And if you made any error in your design through our machine learning and years of producing for other designer, you actually can see the feedback on what you've done wrong and get real-time feedback. So basically, back to this quote, I just modified it and I went into configure part and I changed the option from 3D printing to CNC. So let me do it one more time. I didn't save it when I was demoing. So I got CNC and I choose aluminum and I click save property. And instead of the kind of $30 option, now I actually have the $772 option. And you can get the part made in the USA in 5 days, or if you want to save some money and have time to spare, you can also ship it internationally. To recap, how did I go from Thomas to here? You basically just punch in Sometry.com, which is the parent company of Thomas, where we believe you can use us to build any big ideas by uploading any parts and products. So that's a really great fail-safe for you if you have parts you've never sourced before. And now we are getting to the conclusion of this webinar. Today, I kind of talk you through all of our core feature summary, where we talk about how we can use our company data, structured information, and filters to really whittle down your supplier comparison and shortlist. You can also submit one quote and buy option and get multiple quotes. In addition, if you're a small company, you may want to get the credit key option so you can buy now, pay later. Or if you're a big organization and it's a pain in the back to sign up new vendors, register with Sometry as your billing option. Then you can fast track 11,000 suppliers that you can buy fast from. That can actually help you consolidate your long tail spend and track, you know, your organizational spend a lot more easily as well. And finally, you can pop over to Sometry to do any custom quotes for parts and designs. Before I part, there are 4 really useful resources. We have tremendous amount of technical guides on Thomas, and feel free to pop by thomasnet.com/articles, where we share a lot of deep insights about industry trends such as CMMC, cybersecurity, maturation certification for the defense supply chain. Say it 6 times, Kathy. But there are all the things that we hear from other people that we can cross-pollinate back to you. And if you're too busy to browse, you can sign up to Thomas Industry Update, which is our newsletter that pop into your inbox every morning, so that we want everyone to be the smartest people in the boardroom. In addition, if you are a design engineer and if you want to get a hard copy of an injection molding finishing cheat sheet, we can ship it to your home or your office address as well at no cost to you. It's actually really cool, especially if you order injection molding often. And finally, we do have an ultimate guide to 3D printing. It's no longer like an emerging technology. It's being used really heavily in the industry. So Brittany and I will make sure we share the full links with you. As I promised in the beginning, we are getting close to the end of the webinar. We have 2 minutes left. Please make note of my email, cma@thomasnet.com, or connect with us via LinkedIn.